We can start the program now, Swati.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. A very good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome you for this FICCI Cascade in Conversation program with Mr. Maurice Emiola Adéfalou. Mr. Maurice is a technical officer of IPR and Health and Safety Program Manager in the Compliance Department in the World Customs Organization. To begin the proceedings, may I request Mr. Anil Rajput, Chairman FICCI Cascade, to please make the welcome address.
Thank you, Swati. Good afternoon and a very warm welcome to the In Conversation series to Shri Maurice Emiola Adéfalou. I don't know whether I've been able to correctly pronounce. Thank you. Technical Officer, IPR, and Health and Safety Program Manager in Compliance, World Customs Organization. Mr. Najib Shah, former Chairman, CBIC, and think tank member, FICCI Cascade. This is an exciting platform of FICCI Cascade where we share insights and have a candid and spontaneous dialogue to understand various facets of illicit trade with our esteemed guests. As part of the series, we have had some of the most amazing minds join us for a conversation on a wide range of topics pertaining to this subject. We are delighted to have with us today Mr. Maurice Emiola, who has joined us from Brussels. Maurice holds a position of Technical Officer, Compliance in the World Customs Organization, and has a very rich experience in custom administration across geographies. He has also been part of several operations against illicit medicines. Thank you, Mr. Emiola, for taking time out from your busy schedule and joining us today. I would like to welcome Mr. Najib Shah, former Chairman, Central Board of Indirect Taxes and Customs. Mr. Shah actually needs no introduction. He is so well known in the Indian environment and internationally. He is an officer of 1979 batch of Indian Customs and Central Excise Service. He has a stellar background and an illustrious career spanning more than 37 years. He is also a member of FICCI Cascade think tank, and we are really grateful for his association and contribution in growing our advocacy on this issue. Thank you, Mr. Shah, for joining us this afternoon. Illicit trade is undeniably one of the greatest risks globally, which negatively impacts legitimate economic activity and facilitates an underground economy, provides strong support to organized trade and crime, deprives governments of revenue for vital public services, forces higher burden on taxpayers, incurs job losses, and exposes consumers to dangerous and ineffective products. Over the past 10 years, magnitude of illicit trade has increased at an alarming rate. According to World Economic Forum, illicit trade creates an annual drain on the global economy of $2.2 trillion, nearly 3% of the world economy. Unfortunately, the problem has only been compounded since the onset of COVID-19 pandemic in 2020. It dramatically affected supply chains and created a lot of vulnerabilities and uncertainties in the entire economic process. And that allowed opportunities for illicit traders to move contraband and exploit a very delicate situation. It has also overwhelmed global business and to date has created the most substantial negative supply chain security effect in the history. The lack of genuine products and supplier disruption has been devastating to legitimate businesses. The COVID-19 pandemic provided more opportunities for unscrupulous elements who sought to take advantage of the rise in demand and subsequent shortages of products, and in turn caused significant damage to the economy of the nation, along with the health and safety of the consumers. They are indeed deficient in most basic human values. Since the onset of the pandemic, the World Customs Organization has been working assiduously to not only establish a coordinated and proactive approach to ensure the integrity and continued facilitation of the global supply chain, but also adopted measures to deter any kind of illicit movement of goods. Mr. Maurice Emiola has been the main coordinator of Operation Stop WCO's immediate response against illicit trafficking of medicine, vaccines, and medical supplies linked to COVID-19 pandemic. And thank you for doing this, Maurice. It's been a great contribution, your personal contribution in addressing this issue. We look forward to hearing his experience on how the operation played a pivotal role in the fight against illicit trade to protect societies. The CABIC in India has been a long-standing and valued member of World Customs Organization. It has established strong cooperation with the WCO on a number of enforcement-related areas. During the COVID crisis, the Indian Customs, DRI, and other enforcement agencies have seized smuggled, spurious, and counterfeit vaccines, sanitizers, masks, PPE kits, disinfectants, toiletries, cosmetic, electronic goods, cigarettes, spices, alcohol, and several other items across various states in large numbers, with the objective of generating awareness and curbing the problem of launching an effective deterrence against the growing illicit trade in counterfeits and smuggled goods. FICCI Cascade, Committee Against Smuggling and Counterfeiting Activities Destroying the Economy, known as Cascade, has been working closely and extensively with the government's law enforcement agencies, industry, and consumers at large. FICCI Cascade, in pursuance of its agenda, has been organizing a series of multi-stakeholder dialogue to tackle this scourge and spread awareness about the socio-economic impact of the illicit trade. Today's interaction is another step in this direction. Once again, I welcome Mr. Maurice Emiola and look forward to hearing his views on the cross-border smuggling scenario. Initiative taken by WCO to arrest this problem and the need to effective collaborations in overcoming this challenge. I wish this webinar all the very best. Thank you and Jai Hind, and over to you, Swati.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your welcome address. Ladies and gentlemen, I will now request Mr. Najib Shah, former Chairman CBIC and think tank member of FICCI Cascade, for his opening remarks and to take this discussion forward with Mr. Maurice Emiola. Mr. Shah, please.
Thank you very much, Swati. And thank you very much, Mr. Rajput, for your opening remarks. You have covered the whole gamut of the extent of the problem, the action to fight against this menace. Nice to see you, Maurice, once again. So welcome to this discussions. The format will be in the form of me raising some issues and basically hearing from you, hearing the WCO experience and the learnings which each customs administration, and specifically India, can have from the WCO experience. As you're aware, the Federation of Indian Chamber of Commerce and Industry is a non-profit, non-government organization, represents more than 2 lakh plus industries across the whole gamut, big, small, medium. And Cascade, which is again an acronym for a committee against smuggling and counterfeiting activities destroying the economy, is a think tank formed under the FICCI. As Mr. Rajput has mentioned, we've been having the series of conversations with various personalities. The fundamental aim of Cascade is to act as a bridge between the industry and the government and to provide to the government inputs based on the experiences and learnings which you have had from the industry. WCO, of course, has been working closely with the Indian Customs Administration, and the Operation Stop itself, which Mr. Rajput mentioned about, had participation from the Indian Customs Administration also. So, start off by asking you, Maurice, what is the trigger for the operation itself to start? Because we all know the supply and demand correlationship for any such illicit activities to get triggered. So what is the trigger for WCO to initiate this operation? Was it based on a request of any member country? Was it the general inputs which WCO itself had, then the need for such a operation, given the scale of the pandemic and the fact that the supply chains are getting disrupted? So how do we, so kindly start, educate us on that, and then we'll take it forward. Over to you, Maurice.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Mr. Najib, for your remarks and for your question. And thank also to Mr. Anil for his open remark. First of all, on behalf of Mr. Dr. Kunio Mikuria, the WCO Secretary General, I would like to congratulate you for this important event. And it's a pleasure for us as a WCO World Customs Organization to be part in this event. And also, allow me quickly, briefly, to present the World Customs Organization. We are an intergovernment organization with 183 members. Our main role first is in 2 branches. First, we are working closely to facilitate in the world, around the world, the legitimate trade. But in the other side, we need to work closely with our member to stop illicit trafficking linked to drugs, linked to environment, and in IPR. Regarding the stop operation, it's important to recall at the beginning of the pandemic, in the WCO, we received some alerts from our members regarding the illicit trade of medicines, of medical supply, namely mask, gel, thermometer, and others, and COVID test kit. And then we make an assessment in the compliance subdirectorate. And first, we set up a tool, a secure tool for exchange information between the WCO members. This tool is called the IPR CENTCOM. And today we have 160 members who are in this group with more than 500 users. And in this group, members can exchange information. You are fully aware that information exchange to fight illicit trade is very important. That was our first role during at the beginning of the pandemic. But the next step was, after this secure tool, we see that it was very important for us to stop the illicit trend linked to COVID-19 among our members. And we set up in 2020 2020, in April 2020, the first operation we call Stop One operations. And during the operation, we make some webinar, some workshop to train custom on the trend, first on the trend linked to COVID-19, medical supply, and also on how they can make detection on genuine and fake goods, fake medicine, fake medical supply. And then we start with the operation for around 60 days. And during this first operation, we seized a lot of quantity of medicines, medical supply, and it was with 99 members. And at this first time, as you may recall, it was the first lockdown we have around the world. And at this time, the vaccine are not yet approved by the health authority. And as soon they approved the vaccine, we set up the second operation, namely Stop 2 operation, which was concluded last week. And then our targeting good was the vaccine, but also medicine and medical supply. To sum up, the main idea for this operation is first to protect society, to protect people against the fake medicine, fake vaccine and medical supply. But secondly, is also to equip a custom to improve their knowledge on the vaccine, on the medical supply, is what we did around several webinars with pharmaceutical companies. And in conclusion, I will say Stop operation is a really barometer to have a look on what's happened around the world during this COVID-19 inside of the illicit trend, but also to protect society against fake goods. Thank you very much.
Absolutely, Maurice, because ultimately, as a proverb from your continents goes, you want to go fast, you go alone, but you want to go far, you have to go together. So, which is what ultimately this operation showed, that you need the cooperation and coordination of all member customs administrations to ensure that we work together as a team. And I'm sure they would have benefited extremely well from your inputs. I wonder whether you're aware, Maurice, that in India also, we have requirements which facilitate genuine traders, genuine importers to register themselves and the trademarks with the customs administration. So that helps the customs administrations to distinguish between import and a genuine import. But having said that, the challenge always, of course, remains in distinguishing this, simply because the levels and the sophistication of counterfeiting has improved dramatically. Now tell us, what has been your experience in terms of this level of sophistication, in terms of detections, where it was very, very difficult to distinguish between the genuine and the fake, and how did you help the customs administrations go forward trying to distinguish this between these two?
Thank you very much, Mr. Najib. Yes, as you said, cooperation is very important, and especially in the IPR side, we need cooperation first between customs administration, cooperation with other stakeholders like the private sector and international organization. For your information, now we have a new strategy in the WCO IPR program, a new strategy 2020. And one of the pillars of this strategy is the cooperation with other stakeholders. Regarding this COVID-19 situation, we work very closely with pharmaceutical companies who produce COVID-19 vaccine. And we hold several webinars with them, with Pfizer, Moderna, and others, to teach, to improve the custom knowledge on how they can make distinction between genuine and fake vaccine. And during this workshop, the right holder, the pharmaceutical company are invited. First, they give an overview on their vaccine, the packaging, the transport, the transport condition, the destination country, the country where the vaccine are produced. And then customs are fully aware on detail on each vaccine or medicine. And after this webinar, we have also, they provide us with some material, some PowerPoint on the specification on their good. and then we can upload this kind of material in the IPR-CENCOM tool, where we have a lot of custom officer who can have a look on this. Is the way we work with the right router to improve the custom knowledge on how they can make distinction between genuine and fake. And also, the WVCU IPR Health and Safety Program, we have a capacity building activity. Normally, before the COVID-19 situation, it's 5 days of capacity building activity for the member, but with COVID-19, it's online module with 3 days. But in 5 or 3 days, we have 1 day who is dedicated to the private sector, on where they came to show the custom the main characteristic of their goods, the main trend, the main transportation condition, and then custom can be aware that Pfizer vaccine cannot be produced in Africa or cannot be produced in other country. They can have a look and be aware on the packaging, if the vaccine or the good will come by airline, by seaport, and that this great kind of cooperation is the key success of our capacity building activity and the cooperation with right router. And I can assure you, during our capacity building activity, this day dedicated to the right holder is a very interesting day, where the custom officer raised a lot of questions to improve their knowledge, to learn more on the goods, because we have a lot of goods, and as you said, more and more the criminal, they are going to sophisticate the trend, and they are aware on the trend around the world, and more they improve their criminal activity. Is why it's important for custom to be aware, to be updated regarding the goods, regarding the characteristics of the good around the world.
Thank you, Maurice. I'm just curious to know whether you detect vaccines in the course of this operation, because otherwise we had a lot of other issues here of thermometers and sanitizers and oxygen meters. But did you detect cases of vaccines also being counterfeited and attempted to be taken across borders?
Okay, thank you very much. Yes, as we complete the last phase of the stop 2 operation, and the report is still ongoing, I cannot disclose some information. But for your information, yes, we say a lot of vaccine during this operation. We says our member says some vaccine, and they reported this case of illicit vaccine in the IPR-CENCOM platform. And I think in December, at the beginning of December, we will have a big event to release the report of stop 2 operation, with the main outcome, the main risk indicator, and the main trend we can see during the operation. Oh,
thank you. Because, and it's most unfortunate that vaccines too were being counterfeited, because you're playing with the lives literally, and the damage will have been that much more. And I'm sure your report will be of great interest. And hopefully by that time, the pandemic itself would have ebbed, and we will be facing fresh challenges, I'm sure. But hopefully the pandemic would have ebbed. Now, what are the learnings itself you think each member customs administration can take from your operation? And specifically, what are their experience with the Indian Customs Administration's reportage of the detections made by them during the course of their participation in the operation?
Thank you very much. The main important thing is, as you raised also this point, it's important to work together, because if one country will work alone, we cannot have a great result. The lesson learned during this operation is together we are more strong. We are more strong to fight illicit trend. And during the operation, as we receive some alerts or seizure from a member, one member, this member can share this seizure, this trend, or these cases with all the members who are involved in this operation. And then the other members can take this risk indicator or risk seizure and improve their control, their assessment, and improve their risk management at the border. The first lesson learned is it's important to work together among the custom administration and also with the other stakeholders. The second lesson learned during this pandemic is definitely the criminal that took this pandemic into opportunity to commit their bad activity. And the law enforcement agency, custom, police, and other, we need to be aware and we need to be ready to protect our society, because the only thing they want is to take profit. Even people can die, even people can take fake vaccine, fake medicine. And my last point is regarding the Indian custom. We are very closely with our colleague from India, and I will take this opportunity to thank them for their involvement in the operation and in stop to operation. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Maurice. Now, we have talked of cooperation between the customs administrations. The challenge always for customs administrations in every country is cooperation amongst enforcement agencies within a country. That has always been a great challenge because within a country, the multiple enforcement agencies operating with similar mandates of preventing IPR violations. So did you have any feedback on that aspect of, or did you not deal with that because it is not an inter-country issue, but it's a domestic issue?
Yeah, thank you very much. That is a very good point you raised. And for stop operation and most of our operation, we are working closely with Interpol. You know, Interpol is the police international organization, and for this operation and the previous one also, we are working closely with Interpol. And as soon, because sometimes in some country, customs don't have power to make investigation after seizure, and it's why we are working closely with Interpol. And as soon we got some alert or seizure, and we need more background, we need more information on this seizure, we can liaise with Interpol, and Interpol can liaise with the national contact point in the country. And the best practice we are promoting now is to put custom and police together to talk and to work together. And we have some good example in some country where custom and police can work closely to make arrestation, to make a seizure. And it's what in WVCU we encourage our members to work closely with police and other law agency, because it's good to make a seizure. It's good to stop infringement, IP infringement, but it's important to make investigation, to have a more background on the seizure, and then we can dismantle the criminal network. It's why great collaboration between custom and other law agency is very important, and it's what we are doing with Interpol, with Europol, Olaf, and other law agency. And in the national level, it's also important for custom to work with police and other law agency, but also with other stakeholders like private sector, like health authority, because it's very important when it's regarding the question related to the health. Custom cannot have all the knowledge. It's also important during our operation, during our daily working, to work with health authority, private sector, to know the better way forward in the seizure, in the investigation.
Thank you, Maurice. In India, we have the Central Bureau of Investigation, which has a nodal officer of Interpol attached to them. And the Indian Customs, specifically the Apex Intelligence Agency of the Indian Customs Administration, which is known as the Directorate of Revenue Intelligence, liaises very, very closely with the link officer of Interpol in the Central Bureau of Investigation, India. Now tell me, Maurice, since we're talking now of violations of intellectual property, how has been the WCO's in coordination with WIPO itself during the course of this operation? Did you have any specific interactions with the property organization, World Intellectual Property Organization, WIPO?
Yes. Yeah,
so how was your interaction with them? Because ultimately, at the end of the day, these are infringements of IPRs, and they are the nodal agency again for IPR. So how has been the interaction of WCO with WIPO?
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, we have a very good collaboration with with them. What international proprietor we are working closely with them. As I said, cooperation is very important also in international organization level. But as this operation is a very law agency operation, WIPO is not involved. And when the members can see some IP infringement during this operation, they need to liaise with the national IP agency or the railroader to see if there is any IP infringement. But also, as we are working very closely with the private sector, if our national contact points involved in this operation, they have some issue on the good, on the protection of the good, they can liaise with WVCU, and we can see if we have a contact point with this private sector, with the railroader. We can take action and contact them and put them in contact with the national contact point. During first operation, step one, we have several cases where in a country there was a seizure, but the national contact point, they were not sure if this brand was protecting in their country, and they send a message to the Operation Coordination Unite, and we can be able to touch the railroader, and then they make a meeting together for the way forward. It's why cooperation also is very important between custom, between private sector, and it's what I can share with you. Otherwise, we have a very good cooperation with WIPO, and they are involved in the WCO CAP meeting, counterfeit and piracy meeting. They're inviting. The next one will be in November, and it's always a pleasure to have WIPO in our activity. Also, last but not least, regarding our cooperation with WIPO, we have a global conference, namely an IP conference. The last one was held in South Africa. It was very successful, and we are planning as soon the pandemic will over to have another IP conference with WIPO and other international organizations.
Thank you, Maurice. What has been the experience of the private players itself in this entire operation? What were their back to WCO about things whereby the customs administration can improve the manner in which they are handling imports or exports in any country, or similar learning which they had, the private sector, the private players. After all, at the end of the day, by stopping illicit trade, we are protecting civil society, but we are also protecting the interests of the private manufacturers of these goods whose intellectual property is being stolen. So what is their experience?
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, fight illicit trade is not easy task in general, especially in the IPR side. And regarding IPR side, the custom need private sector support. Otherwise, we cannot have a look, we cannot have a good knowledge on the trend on the good. It's why the cooperation with private sector is very important. And also, sometimes when they make a seizure, the private sector, the railroader need to take action, because in some country, custom don't have the power to seize IP infringement good. They need to liaise with the private sector, who will take action, as a custom in some country, as I said, don't have ex officio power. And this mechanism of dialogue, permanent dialogue with private sector, is the key for the success of regarding to fight IP infringement. And experience with private sector, mostly it's a very good experience we have with them, and they are very supporting the WVCU work and also the custom administration work to improve our fight regarding the illicit trade, especially in the IPR side.
Thank you, Maurice. Do you have anything else to say to us? Because I think I'm coming to the end of my questions, though the session is supposed to go till 15:30 hours. I can let you go early, but you please tell us if you've got anything else to share with us, which learnings which the Indian Customs Administration can take from the entire operations?
Yeah, thank you very much. It was a very interesting conversation. Yes, my last point will be it's important for custom administration to work closely with private sector. That is the strong message I would like to raise, because without collaboration, a great collaboration with private sector, it will be very difficult to fight IP infringement. That is the first point I will raise. The secondly, it's important for custom to update their knowledge, because the criminal activity, they can change everything on daily basis, and they are working on in network. The criminal are in network, they can share experience, they can share everything. It's why it's important for custom administration to work closely under the WCO supervision to tackle the IP infringement. And as I say in my first comment, we are developing a new strategy. We have a new strategy 2020 in the WCO IPR program, and it will be very interesting if we can have our custom administration members support to implement this strategy. That will be good. And this, I will take this opportunity to send a message to the India Custom if they can support this IPR program new strategy. That will be very good. Thank you very much.
Any questions from the panelists who are here? Others who are checking into the meeting itself? I am sure Maurice will be happy to answer them. Any questions, please, from others?
Yeah, first, I would like to thank Swati and the whole team who was very supporting to prepare this event, and thank to Mr. Anil. I very much appreciate your open remark, and also Mr. Najib. Thank you very much to drive this very interesting conversation. It was a pleasure for me, and yeah, I hope we will have looking forward to work again with FICCI CASCADE.
Absolutely. Just hang on, but Maurice, I've left the floor open for some questions to be asked in case somebody wishes to ask some questions. So just hang on. Any questions, please, from anybody?
Maurice, I would want to know, how would you see that, WCO and Cascade can have a much stronger relationship going forward?
Yeah, thank you very much. First, as I said, cooperation with the other stakeholder is very important. It's one of the main pillars of the IPR strategy. And I think I already sent the invitation to Swati. It's important for you to attend in the next CAP meeting. The CAP meeting is the WCO counterfeit and anti-piracy group, which you can see all the stakeholders, the national contact point, the international organization, and private sector, on where we can make a discussion on the challenges for custom, challenges for private sector regarding the IPR infringement. And then I think Cascade, FICCI Cascade, you can start to take part in this meeting, and after we can see the main challenges, the main point which can be included in our cooperations. That can be the start, the beginning of our collaboration.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any further questions, please, from anybody?
Sir, since this is on YouTube, I don't think anybody, because only the panelists are here in this session.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Maurice, I thought it would be open for questions too. So Maurice, thank you so much. It's been a fascinating conversation.
My pleasure.
I hope rather that the need for operations top 3 will not be there. Lessons would have been learned by customs administrations, by the pharmaceutical companies, by the illicit and unscrupulous trade. The tragedy always has been is that the cooperation between smugglers and counterfeiters is much closer and stronger than the cooperation is there between administration across borders and enforcement agencies across borders. That is something I think we all, as WCO and as customs administrations, we have to appreciate and learn, that the need to exchange information and data is so very crucial to prevent and thwart such illicit trade. Unless we do that, we're always going to be a few steps behind the smugglers and the counterfeiters. Thank you so much, Maurice. It has been a good conversation. I'm sure that you've also experienced and learned something from this discussion which we had. We certainly have learned from everything which you have told us. Thank you very much. Thank you, Swati. Over to you.
Thank you, sir. And on behalf of FICCI Cascade, I would also like to thank Mr. Maurice for having this fascinating conversation today with Mr. Najib Shah. I think all of us will subscribe to your thoughts that collaborations, stringent actions against perpetrators, and a dialogue with private players are the key to curb any kind of illicit activities. I would also like to thank Mr. Najib Shah, former Chairman CBIC and think tank member of FICCI Cascade, for raising the right concerns. I'm sure that the points put up by you, sir, will be helpful in further deliberations on this subject in the days to come. I also must thank Mr. Anil Rajput, Chairman FICCI Cascade, for being with us today and for spearheading FICCI Cascade's initiative with an unmitigated force which drives the issue across the nations. Thank you all of you who have joined us through this session through YouTube. We hope this experience sharing exercise was benefited by one and all today. Thank you once again and have a good day ahead. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Take care, Maurice. Take care, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Everyone for joining the program. Thanks a lot.
Yeah.